Okay guys, I'm going to make some banana honey cinnamon muffins using this recipe I found on the Thermomix recipe community website, because I've got some overripe bananas that I want to use up. I've just read through the recipe steps and I'm going to deviate from them a bit, because it says to add in melted butter at a later stage, but I'm going to melt my butter in the Thermomix because that's the type of machine it is and that's what it's made to do. So I'm not going to make any more work for myself. I'm going to make it easier for myself. So I'm going to melt the butter first instead of putting the bananas in to mash them first. So this is just one of the amazing things that this machine does. So I make my cakes, and as you saw earlier, I made sous vide chicken, I cooked my veggies in it. Now I'm going to make some dessert. I make gelato, I make mashed potatoes, I make my spaghetti bolognese, I make everything in it. I use it probably 2 to 3 times a day, minimum. So I make everything in it. Anyway, back to the recipe, and I will link this recipe in the description box, so don't worry. You can follow the recipe, but you can also do it my way as well. So as I said, this machine weighs each ingredient as well, so it's minimal usage of extra spoons, bowls, plates, so no washing up, everything's in one bowl. It's amazing. So I've already got my oven preheated because, as you may know, I'm cooking some sweet potato chips in there right now. So once they're done, this should be ready to go in. So we need 75 grams of melted butter. So I am going to melt that first, even though the recipe says to add the butter in later. That's the type of I guess cook I am, and baking as well. I don't follow recipes. If I see that I can do it a different way, my own way, that works for me, then I will do it. So 75 grams. I'm just going to estimate. Oops, what happened to my page? Okay, so I'm going to throw in the first piece. 50, 70. Ooh, just 5 grams off. I'm usually pretty good with estimating measurements with cooking and baking. I'm usually not far off. Okay, so we need to melt this butter. Now it also calls for sugar, and I'm going to melt that as well because I don't like having granules of sugar in my cake batter. So I'm going to add the sugar in here as well while the butter is melting. So we need 100 grams of raw sugar, which I have right here. So no measuring spoons, no measuring cups, straight in, and you just stop when it's at the point where, when I've gone over. That's alright. A little extra sugar never hurt anyone. So I'm going to close the lid. Obviously this isn't on the recipe because you need to melt the sugar, the butter in the microwave beforehand, but I'm going to go 2 minutes 70 on 0.5 and just let that melt. The sugar will melt. Sorry about the noise.